Good morning, traders. Today is Wednesday, July 7th. My name is Charles, and this is the Pirate Traders live stream. My apologies for being late getting going this morning. I was just busy checking emails and I got distracted. Literally heard the bell ring and then suddenly realized the market was open and I needed to start streaming. So let's do it. Let's do it to it. Okay, so let's take a step back here real quick and look at what happened in the market yesterday. Okay, so we've had this crazy push higher created by momentum with just tons of excess that pushed us up to these new all-time highs on Friday. Over the weekend, the market just kind of balanced up here at these higher prices. And then yesterday we had a sell-off. I'm going to go ahead and expand out the profile real quick. So the market sold off early in the morning all the way down here into Thursday's range and then found support and V-shape recovered right back into the value area from Friday where it closed at the end of the day. Whilst looking at this, it might look like it was a panic sell-off. It really wasn't. If you were watching it in real time, the market was very calmly just slowly grinding its way lower here. So there really wasn't any panic in this. And that's important because we've spent, over the last few weeks, we've spent so much time talking about how much weakness the market has beneath it right now. All these red lines that you see down here, all of this is weakness in the market. All of these are weak references. Normally when the market pushes higher like this, you won't see this. You'll see maybe one or two little red references here or there, but very, very few. This is insane. So because of this amount of weakness that we have beneath us, my assumption is if we get panic selling, if we get a liquidation break, the market will probably head all the way down to correct some of this weakness as well. Okay, so the fact that that didn't happen yesterday and the fact that we got such a perfect V-shaped recovery right back into Friday's value is a sign to me that the momentum traders are still in charge of this market this morning. Okay, that's why they recovered it so quickly. That's why they didn't cause a liquidation break, because those buyers were ready to step in and push the market back up as soon as it pulled back at all. Okay, so that is bullish in and of itself. As we talked about so much, do not fight momentum. If these momentum buyers are going to keep pushing this market to new all-time highs every day, just go with the flow of the market. Go long, go with them. Don't try to short them until they're ready for the bigger pullback, okay? Which we now know they weren't ready yesterday. So don't know why they'd suddenly be ready today, right? Yesterday, they proved that the momentum buyers are still in charge. Don't know why they would suddenly change their minds the very next day after doing so much battle yesterday, right? That being said, all of that bullish, that being said, don't forget about all this weakness below, including the weakness left behind yesterday, which is in need of repair at some point, okay? The overnight last night just rotated inside the upper end of our range, balancing off, showing acceptance of these higher prices, acceptance of the value from Friday. That is bullish. We created a poor high in the overnight, which gives us a little target to go repair here in the regular trading hours. So I'm looking for the market to push up here to this poor high and repair it. And then when it does it find resistance there? So that's yesterday's high. Does it get up there? It tries to get higher and it can't, and then it pulls back down into yesterday's range. Okay. Or does it get above yesterday's high and then start to build up volume in this area, finding support for another push higher? If that's the case, it's a good long trade. Once again, the overnight high, that was the all-time high from the night before last, that is also considered a weak reference in need of repair because every overnight high made in the overnight gets repaired by the regular trading hours. Okay, so if we get above yesterday's high, find support. Getting to that overnight high is almost certain, and then it's blue skies from there. Okay. As far as a pullback goes, any node of volume from yesterday could act as support for the market here. And it's worth noting that at the bottom where the POC is and the largest node of volume is the last week reference left behind. So it wouldn't be unreasonable for the market to pull down, repair this, and then push higher. Okay? Market internals opening kind of flat, but pushing a little bullish here early in the morning, at least on the NYSE. NASDAQ appears to be pulling back a hair as it gapped higher. Let's look at the NQ on the market profile. Yes, sir. Gapped higher on the NQ. And their overnight traded much, much higher. So that's very bullish. Shows you guys those momentum buyers still in charge of this market. But look for a gap fill down to yesterday's high at around 14,789. Okay. If you don't get the gap fill, that is a gap and go, which is an incredibly bullish thing. If you get down to yesterday's high and you find support there, that is a good long trade, as it is bullish as well. But if you fail and start to pull down into yesterday's range, that is bearish as a look above and fail. But yeah, the Q looks bullish to me. Okay, so we got above that overnight high and yesterday's high. So now we're looking for the market. This candle, pink candle, looks great. Market's bringing in volume. So I think that all-time high is the next target. All right, guys, let's do some good mornings. How's it going, RK Leon? Good morning to you. First in the chat. Philip is back with us. Good morning to you. Marco is here. Naif, good morning. Jamie is back. Malcolm, good to see you. Nirmal is here. Shane back with us. Phoenix in the house. Trading Donkey, good morning to you. Partha is with us. Good to see you. Jose, good morning to you. Mizu, good to see you as well. Jim Dalton recently tweeted about poor structure at both ends. There you go. Well, we're just about to repair the last of the poor structure above us, getting us blue skies. Good morning, Nick. Good morning, Arthur. You must be an NQ trader. Top of the morning to you, Chris. Jitten, good to see you as well. And Rob, good morning. So keep in mind, anywhere that the market, if the market were to stop right where it's at now at its high, anywhere in this area will be a poor high because it's within a tick of a previous high. So the market needs to get 2 ticks above this overnight high from last night. Excuse me. Sorry, I haven't had anything to drink yet today. The high here needs to get over the overnight high and then pull back down and find support. If it doesn't, look for it to pull back down into yesterday's range, trying to get down here and find support in these nodes of volume, which to me would be not unreasonable, right? We get a little bit of excess, we repair that poor high, and then we pull back in to repair these weak references. A normal market would function like that. But with the momentum buyers being in charge, I'm of course also ready for the breakout and continuation to the upside. Okay, so seeing how the market reacts once it gets above this overnight high will give us some more insight. Yeah, that's what I was just mentioning, Mizu, is the idea of a look above and fail. It's not really a look above. I wouldn't see it as a look above and fail just because we opened like right here. I would look at it more like just a repair of the weak high created by the overnight market. I would see it more like that necessarily than a look above and fail, although technically it's basically the same thing. But yeah, the point that I was making earlier this morning was, though, in terms of the larger correction of the weakness below, maybe this market will need to come down here and repair the weakness created yesterday. But as far as all of this weakness down here is concerned, yesterday was their chance, right? They had their chance to sell off down here to cause panic and fear and bring levels down. And instead they bought. They bought it up. They saw it as a discount. So who were those buyers that bought in here? Well, they're the momentum buyers. And the momentum buyers, they want the momentum to continue. They want the market to go up. So for us to start to, I mean, this seems like a very obvious thing to say, but for us to repair all of this down here, we first need to break the low created by yesterday, which I don't think we will. And we'll know, the way we'll know that that's going to happen today, we don't even have to use the overnight, yesterday's low. We can use yesterday's like bottom node of volume, this right here. So essentially, if where the POC is yesterday, if this can't hold as support, then we start to get worried about further downside continuation. But any pullback here in the market today, I would assume will find support in yesterday in these nodes of volume. RK, thank you for asking, and the answer is yes, I do. I don't know yet exactly how the money works, but I know if you skip the ad, I get like nothing, and if you watch it, I get more. So yes, please watch those ads, RK. Do it, brother. Just come to the live stream like, a couple minutes earlier, start it on up, and then just mute it and go make yourself a cup of coffee and let that ad run. Yeah, for those of you that don't know, yesterday was my first day monetizing. The stats, it takes a while for the stats to come in to tell you what you get. But I'm excited. Finally getting paid. Jit, and I have looked at the NQ and it's bullish AF. Look at that. Gap and go. Found support. Yeah, so once again, it's a gap. So gap rules are in play on the NQ. And, look, it found support just above the overnight halfback. So if the market pushes back down below this A period low that we currently have, look for it to fill the gap to get to yesterday's high. Okay, which is at 14,790. UI day. So look for it to push down to yesterday's high. If it finds support above yesterday's high and it starts trading higher, that is very bullish for continuation to the upside. Again, just more of the momentum story, right? Gap and go can be very powerful. And if it gets to yesterday's high and it starts to find support around here, that is also bullish for continuation to the upside. If it does not, though, if it starts to pull down into yesterday's range, same as with the ES, start to look at the random nodes of volume in here as potential support. Okay. And I would say the main one being this one around the POC. So bottom of the support for that is going to be about 14,733. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Donkey, for the insight. My bad for annoying everyone then this morning, opening the stream after the market, and then they had to watch an ad. I'm so sorry, guys. Good thing we opened inside of yesterday's range, and we've just had some chop this morning, and we haven't gone anywhere. Uh, I can't believe it, but this market actually just made a good high. It's 2 ticks from the all-time high, which is fine, and it's 2 ticks from the high from 7.2. Good for you, market. Found the one random level that that it can make a good high. Okay. So of course we still think it needs to repair that overnight high and the taper here. Actually, that's not too bad. 9,000, 8,000, 6,000, 3,000, just shy of 1,000, 100. That's not terrible. My guess now is that the NQ needs to go back and fill that gap, and that's acting as a bit of a drag on the ES. So I'm going to be looking for where does the market find support. I would say if it gets below this POC from Friday, which is at 43.3850, I would be looking to short it down into this node of volume from yesterday. So I would essentially go short here, and then once it got down into this node, does it seem like it's finding support? If so, move my stop above break even, and then see if we come down here and repair these weak references. But keep in mind, I think as soon as that gap fills on the NQ, it'll find support and start pushing higher, and then probably this market pivots again as well, taking another stab at that all-time high. So the safer play here is probably to wait for support and go long rather than trying to short the down move. So keep that in mind. Donkey, you were the man. Thank you, brother. Rob, some miracle glue. There you go. At least you know you'd put it to use sooner or later. ES is on 1 tick and Q is on 2 ticks. Okay, so the internals starting to turn on us here, starting to trend down a little bit. Ticks are below the 0 line. Breath is trending down. Let's switch back over to the NQ real quick. Okay, still building up support in this node of volume here. My pleasure, Mizu. We'll see you next time, brother. RK, I love it. I'm just going to start asking that. I didn't know you could do that. So every day now, when the market's being slow, I'm going to start asking people to just refresh and watch a commercial for me. Brilliant. Yeah, Marco. I know what you mean. It happened very quickly, but I wouldn't. It's nothing to be worried about. This market is still bullish. It's just we didn't put in barely any volume on that push up from the open to get up there. They were so desperate to repair that poor high. It was the first focus of the market. So we just got to bring in some volume here, create some support for the next push. Generally, you need for a good support level to be created in the market, and this is just a random number I'm throwing out there. Don't obsess over it and think you need 10,000, but you generally need about 10,000 contracts to exchange, at least at a certain level, for it to be like a good strong support. So like if we look at yesterday, whoops, whoa, what's going on there? Um, you can see like all these levels had more than 10,000 traded. But if we look at today, we haven't had 10,000 trade yet. So it's just the market needs to bring in some volume here, build up a little support, a little bit of strength to then push its way back up and poke through that to the blue skies. Okay, also worth noting, value is higher than yesterday. That is bullish. Arthur. No, it should have just played when you logged into YouTube. If it didn't, don't worry about it. Also, if you have the ads-free version, you'll never see the ad. I have the ads-free. I highly recommend it. It's like $10 a month. It's totally worth it. Okay, yeah, I think that gap on the NQ is sort of the anchor here. Those momentum buyers in the NQ are desperately trying to hold it up. But if this node of volume that we're in right now breaks, we're likely to start one time framing lower into a gap fill here on the NQ, which will probably pull the ES a little bit, tug on it down here to head down to look for support in these nodes from yesterday. Oh my goodness, yes. Sellers are stepping in. Yeah, this negative tick in the NQ. Yeah, I mean I've definitely seen it before many times, but you're right. Lately, it's been bulls in charge of this market. But interesting though that they got all the way down to negative 1,000, or they got to negative. I guess they did get to negative 1,000 ticks, but yet the price was holding up in that node of volume. Oh well, now it's broken. Okay, never mind. All right, so we're looking at that gap fill for the Q. That is probably dragging the ES as well. Okay, so we're breaking. That was the level that I said if we break, we could short it down into this node of volume, or just wait till we get down here and look for support there. If we don't find support in the first node of volume with the repair of the week and period low, if not there, next node of volume. If not there, this repair. If not there, this one. If the POC from yesterday, which is at 43.16, if that fails, look for much bigger pullback. Yeah, I mean, we might be getting close, Donkey. Let's see what happens when they fill that gap. Remember, the gap fills often bring in buyers. They're waiting right here. They're licking their lips. Yeah, we should. We should get down into this note of volume. Congrats, Arthur. Patience paid you $5,000 yesterday. That's pretty sweet. For what it's worth, Donkey, this feels like backfilling that quick push lower. I wouldn't be looking for long until the ticks get above zero. Which, of course, they do 2 seconds after I say it. You son of a bitch. Oh, I shouldn't have cursed. Oh, no. You son of a dog, a female dog. Too late when the ticks get above the zero line? Oh, no, my friend. That's the beginning. That's just when it starts to push. These momentum buyers, man, they can push this market so far up. Nick, yeah, thank you for the reminder. FOMC today. Okay. Ooh, NQ. Finding support just a few ticks away from that gap fill. If this can hold, that would be very bullish. But that's a bit suspect to me. I'm sorry, bullish. It'd be very bullish. There you go. All right, guys. They're pushing it. Yeah, no doubt, Nick. I like to be aware of it. I just don't let it affect my trades. You know what I mean? But yeah, if the market randomly at like 11 a.m. or whatever, whenever the notes come out, if it randomly started to tank out of nowhere, it'd be nice to know why. 100%. That's why I have the chat. That's what you're here for. Keep me posted. Those of you that are familiar with the channel are aware that the way I look at the market is I constantly ask myself the question, what is the market trying to do? And how good of a job is it doing of that? Clear to me this morning, this market wants to go to new all-time highs. I know that from the V-shape of yesterday's trade. I know that from the fact that the overnight balanced up here at higher prices and didn't pull down lower. Okay. And I know that because right at the market open this morning, we pushed higher and tried to get up there to create that new all-time high. But then it didn't do a very good job of it. It got so close. It got just a few ticks away, and then it needed to pull back for support. So to me, this feels bullish to neutral. So once again, I don't think any major pullback below yesterday's range is really going to happen today. So I think either the market is just going to go sideways and bounce around in this range, or we're going to break out above the high and the momentum will continue to the upside. Okay? So that's what I'm watching for right now. We're literally one time framing lower. Yes, sir. We are literally one time framing lower. And it might be that one time framing that makes today have to go rotational. But let's wait and see. It's certainly not bearish, right? This is one of those things about, this is one of those things about the way I look at markets, right? I don't look at just one thing. I don't just go, oh, it's one time framing lower, market has to sell off. I just don't think about it that way. I look at all the different things together. The V-shaped recovery of yesterday, if they wanted to pull back further, they had their chance. So why would they do it today? Seems strange to me. So that's one thing. Value is higher. Look at how much higher value is than yesterday. That's another thing, right? That's bullish as fuck. Oh, I did it again. Oh, no. I really got to stop doing that. But that's bullish right there. Value being higher like that. You know, it's bullish that we had a gap higher in the NQ. It's bullish that we didn't fill that gap. You know, it's the internals don't look great. They're a little bit bearish here, but they're not terribly so. So to me, this feels much more neutral than bearish. And the one time framing by itself is not going to convince me of that. You're right, Chris, for this one. No, they're very vague in their wording of it. I looked it up. It says like you're allowed to use profanity as long as it's not excessive profanity. So hopefully one little slip up here and there isn't considered excessive. Miles, yeah, you're stuck with all those weak references. Well, you are me on Friday, right? I talked about that yesterday. I missed opportunities to go long Friday because I just could not believe that the momentum buyers were going to keep pushing and leaving all these single prints behind. I just couldn't, it just could not wrap my mind around it. It was impossible, but they did it. So I just constantly remind myself that when those momentum buyers are in control, it can shock you how hard they can push the market and how far. But like I said, they're trying to push it again today, and they're not doing that great of a job of it. So today they might need to balance. We're trending down in the ticks. That's bearish. Normal asks, when will the market go rotational? Boy, that's the $1,000,000 question, isn't it? Unfortunately, I need a crystal ball to make that assessment. But if I had to just guess, gun to my head, maybe in the C period, we print the C in 8 minutes. If they're able to push back up above that B period high, that would create the cessation of one time framing, and we'd be rotational. But they may need to trend down a little bit to get into these nodes of volume from yesterday to find support. And so it might take till the D or E period, and then we get it. Let's wait and see. As far as what range we can rotate in, I mean, pretty much anywhere inside of like Friday's value would make sense to me. So, anywhere in this area, we could bounce around in here all day long. They better not, donkey. They better not. But that would be par for the course for this market. It does look like this market is trending down. I just don't think it's trending down into a terrible, bloody day. I think it's just trending down into support. City Matt wants the blood. Okay, so now the question is, now that we've pushed down into this node, does it hold here, even just for a few minutes, or does it immediately just keep crashing? Holding would be not bullish, but sort of neutral. Crashing right through, which is what it's doing, would be bearish for further downside continuation. Oh, man, look at them ticks. Nope, tempo's picking up. It's starting to get liquidation breaky feeling. Lots of single prints left behind here. There's your poor low in the C period. Oh man, I'm sorry to bail on you guys right now, but I got to switch over to the private stream. Join the Brigade, $10 a month, and you can join us on the stream. So as far as where to leave you for the rest of today, as I've mentioned, right now, the market's giving us mixed signals, right? Value is higher. You had support in the overnight market right around this area here. So one would hope you'd find support now in the regular trading hours as you trade down into it. And if not in this area down here in this node from where the POC was yesterday. So look for support anywhere in here for potentially going long. But if this level breaks down here, if this 43.15 breaks, you could be looking at a massive, massive pullback due to all the weakness below. So like I said, I don't think that's what's going to happen today. That seems like the least likely scenario, but just be aware of it as a possibility. More likely we find support somewhere in here, and then we just start rotating. And with that, I will bid you farewell. Thank you guys very, very much, and I will see you here tomorrow morning.